Hello. Oh, let's move this over a little bit. Hello and welcome along. Happy Friday as always. And yeah, Harry Max, good to see you. Yeah. I always think I say the same thing every week, but God, it was a busy week. Guess that's what happens when you have a 9-month-old kid and a job that's all sorts of crazy at the moment. I'm Immortal, welcome in. How are you? Happy Friday as well. I'm going to have a glass. Feel free to join me. What are you playing tonight, I'm Immortal? Are you playing anything interesting? Civ? As always? Oh, I see. Yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. There he goes. Not Civ. Oh. Jesus. It's not Settlers, is it? Ah. Sorry, yes. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. I'm not sure if you were on the last streams, but I have my SNES adapter hardware pretty much working. So I was going to do some circuit board design this week. So I'm gonna give it a quick run anyway and see if it's still working as well as it was. Oh. The cabling's a bit all over the place, but there are signs of life. And you can switch this on as well. Oh no, it's not plugged in. There we go. No, there we don't go. Slightly odd. SNES, yes. SNES controller. You can see the little connector there, and it's an actual SNES controller, not a kind of a modified one or bastardized one for the Amiga. It's a literal SNES controller with a SNES plug on it. And yeah, and it's not working this week. Why is that? Oh, there's a short on it somewhere. What's shorting? Off to a cracking start as happening here then. Oh. Is it because my programmer is not plugged in? Let's try plug that in. Pulling the whole lot down. Yes, that's the one. Now. There we go. That's it working now. Flashy orange lights. And what I'm going to do is see if my capture card will show the Amiga. Oh. It won't. Can't remember which way around to go. Try this one. Okay, there we go. And now run this, and now it won't work. Almost works, and yes, dies a death. Then I just switch that cable, and this will almost work, but work well enough to be able to see what we're doing. There we go. Now, gamepad. Now, pad not detected. Why is that now? But okay, something slightly funny going on, but you can see all the buttons are working. CD32 buttons. Why it's saying not detected is beyond me. Pad detected now. Okay, some slight wrinkles to work out, but anyway, it's working. Is that music too loud, by the way? Let me know if it needs to be turned down a bit. I'm definitely going to be turning it down for myself. Bum, bum. Okay, so what I'm going to... can barely hear the music. Okay, Jeff, welcome in. Jeffertainment. Good stuff. Good to have you along. If you can barely hear it, that's kind of fine because they just put up a smidge then. But that's all right. Yes, happy Friday, happy beer day. And yes, so this is if you're just joining me, this is my SNES pad. It's plugged into the Amiga, and the Amiga is reading it as a CD32 pad through a little adapter that I've made. So quite happy with that it's working. I'm delighted. I'd sit playing this test program all day. Thank you. This is an old one, an old one, but it's embroidered on, so it's lasted many years. It's yeah. Cheers. Yeah, sometimes I'll have an Amiga t-shirt, sometimes I'll have a random nerdy t-shirt. Usually, but I like my t-shirts, so I usually have something nerdy going for these streams. Okay, so anyway, that's that working. So what I'll do is now I'm going to switch back to the desktop. Here's the code that runs it all, and I think, yeah, there are some bugs there to work out, like it's not being detected initially, maybe until I run the full set of buttons. So I will have to see what's going on there. But what I'll do today is design a circuit board for it. And this is going to be weird because I haven't done this on stream before, but do a little bit of CAD. Let's see, where are we going? This one. So what I have done so far is I started this and I've done part of the schematic for it. So I see you guys can't really see that very well, so I'm gonna do that. Scooch that over a bit. Yeah, so this is our schematics. Anyway, how can I? Oh, I can. There we go. Amiga Mark, welcome in. Cheers. Happy Friday. I'm doing me some CAD. Now, I'm using KiCad for this, or KiCad, some people pronounce it. I'm not sure what's the right one. Like so many open source things, nobody knows. Someone knows and everyone's forgotten. So this is the schematic so far. Got our 9-pin for the Amiga. We've got this PIC chip, and we've got 7-pin for the SNES. I hope you're well as well, Mark. And we've got this is for connecting to the programmer. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm also here for the chats and for the booze. So cheers. So yeah. So what this is a little PIC chip, which is they're cool little chips, and this particular one has like 384 bytes of RAM, and that's it. But it's doing a good job. It is reading the SNES pad while also constantly listening for the Amiga to request CD32 information, and so it does both of those things at the same time without interfering as such. So and it runs at 8 megahertz. So it actually runs faster than an Amiga 500. This is a SNES to DE9 converter indeed, yes. And it works. Here, we'll switch back to the other screen just to show you. So there's Amiga test kit, and the D-pad's working, and the 4 buttons are working. Oh yes, and I also have a remap. I have a system for remapping on it as well. So you see, if I press this down here, B is lighting up, and if I press this, O is lighting up. So on the CD32 pad, the main button is down the bottom here, and the second button is here. So you can swap them around by holding down select and pressing select and pressing A, and then you program it with what button you want to be A. So if I press that one now, select an A. If I press that one, no, that's still not working. Okay, maybe we need to fix that one. Let's see. Okay, if I press up, because this was working, and now if I press select and up, because the Amiga doesn't support select, now I can press, let's say, this button, and now when I press up, down, left, right, it does that, but when I press that, it also fires up. And yeah, so now we can, you can map up to another button for platformers and stuff that are actually intended for a joystick. So yeah, I find a mixture. Some games I like to play with a joystick, like Sensible Soccer and things like that. But a lot of the time I play with a pad as well, and mostly because I like to have multiple buttons. So a lot of games have been WHD loaded, and they have extra, support for extra buttons now, and that's how I prefer to play it. I prefer even platformers and stuff. I prefer to have jump on a separate button, unless it's kind of part of the actual gameplay, like a beat 'em up or something like that. But anyway, so that's it. I don't know why it's going into programming mode. And I can see it's in programming mode because it's flashing a little light at me. I'm kind of playing getting KTRLs. I don't want to overuse Competition Pro. The Competition Pro are the kind of the go-to, the deluxe one. I have one, and to be honest, I don't really like it. Well, I see it, and back in the day, I never really liked the Mega Drive either, and the Competition Pro is based on the Mega Drive design, mainly the D-pad. I don't like the D-pad. I much prefer a SNES style D-pad. But I do have a KT. Knocked over my glue gun. I do have a KTRL CD32 here as well, and it is quite nice, and it's probably what I use most of the time, to be fair. Yeah, that was a loud one. But I was using my glue gun last night and I never tied it away. Always tidy away your tools, folks. I find, well, you see, I like the SNES layout, and I like the SNES D-pad, so I find it quite good. I know people don't like them. People prefer the Mega Drive one, and hence the Honeybee one, or the Competition Pro one. I keep on snagging that cable. In my drawer of controllers over here, I do have the Competition Pro, but we'll leave it there. Yeah, it's a personal preference thing, but I like the KTRLs, and they're there because they also have I'm kind of copying the mapping function. Now, I don't know why it's not working there, so I'm gonna have to because I'm supposed to be able to swap those buttons around. You would love a wireless version of the KTRL. Well, have you seen? Yes, I think you did actually. Hold on. Did you see this contraption when you were at Kickstart, weren't you? I had this, and it's a wireless Amiga setup. So you can use it to use a mouse or a normal joystick or a CD32 pad and connect it to your Amiga, and it's as if it's native. So, you can use like wireless USB pads, obviously, but the idea behind that one is you can still use your native peripherals, like in your original tank mouse and your original zip sticks, or an original CD32 pad. So that would technically be a wireless KTRL and a wireless mouse. But yeah, that's still the only existing prototype of that. I got to a certain point with that, and then I'm like, okay, let's move on to another project. But now, this is gonna bug me now because I thought I fixed this, where the where I can program this. So we're gonna go to the code, and we're gonna try and fix this now and see if. So instead of working on the circuit boards, we're gonna fix this. So let's go and have a look at our code. Code. Well, I can hear the 9-month-old is full of joy out there. She should be full of sleep, but she is wide awake and shouting the place down. Yes, well, sure. You know what? At some point, I'll get this one to a point where I can produce it, or at least produce more prototypes of it, and I'll let you know. Beta testers will always be good. Yes, saw that, and you're nearly there with that build, I think. And I still have to make up cables for you, and I know. Okay, so let's look at the code. Where Stream Desktop. So here's our code. I have a variable here, remap A, and that's the variable for whether the A button is mapped to B or not to B. What am I looking for? Remap A. If remap enable, if SNES data and SNES B. Okay, so that's where our actual remapping. And that's our remap done. So now we're if remap A, if SNES data and SNES A. So if button A is pressed on the SNES, which is by default the CD32 second button, if remap A bit set. So we set the bit 1, or else we set bit 0. If remap A remap A is deciding here whether to use the first bit 1 or bit 0, and it's the same down here for bit clear. If remap A, and then so this is the opposite way around. Oh, James, welcome in on a 15 stream streak. I didn't know such a thing was even possible for me. Thank you very much for that. That's nuts. If button A equals press, do any action. Thank you very much. You've solved it. Welcome in. Happy Friday, and hope you're well. I actually thought I was finished with the code because it was all done, and now the remapping code for button A is not working. And so, and button B is the opposite way around. 0, 1 and 0, 1. Bit set, bit clear. So, button A itself is definitely working. Yeah, it's just triggering button B straight away, as in it's triggering the wrong button from cold boot, which it shouldn't be doing. So is remap A actually being set properly? Remap A. Oh Jesus, this is a bug that that absolutely stinks of drunken coding. I think I was trying to take a shortcut here by setting the remap flag to the state of the button, SNES B, but the buttons are active low, so SNES B will be 0 when it's pressed. So it's never going to work that way. remap A equals 1. Let's give that a go. Let's see. Let's see if our program is working. Is it this one? Yeah. Well, let's just build it first to make sure we haven't done something else stupid. Okay. Build successful. Let's burn it. It'll connect to the program. The first time will take a while. Sorry, talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, we've got a good view of the programmer now. And my tube of flux. And my favourite tweezers. And my penknife. And half a Solus board. Over there. It's a Solus board that I was getting ready to send out, and there's a problem with it, so I'd have to fix that. That's for tomorrow. Okay, program verify complete. So our orange lights are still flashing when we use the D-pad, so we know it's live. Now, and the green light is on. That's detecting and SNES pad. Let's have a look. So, no, that's the wrong one. That one. Okay, D-pad's working. Oh yeah, look. So red button now. Red is on the yellow, which is the mapped to the same positions as the CD32. So now if I press select and A together, now, okay, select and A together, and now I want to map A to this button. Now it's backwards, see? Yes! And now we can cancel that by select A and choosing A again. And back to normal. Ha! Done. Done and dusted. Happy days, happy days. I'm not sure if you were here, I'm Immortal, but the first game I played with this when I got it working with the basic setup was Dodgy Rocks. Yeah. But let's see. Would you look at that indeed? Let's see. Does it also work as a 2-button joypad? It does. It does. And now, if we map that, select an A, and now press B, and the buttons are reversed even in 2-button mode. Oh! Happy days. Happy days. Oh, would you look at that indeed? Right. Now. And it's detecting the pad. So there's one little bug where it's not detecting from cold boot, but I'll look at that afterwards. Right, let's go back to what I said I was going to do some circuit board design. So I know this is all very foreign to you, James. You came in on the PC gaming end of things, but have you ever done any CAD or anything like that? So this is our chip here. That's right in the middle there. Now there are a few extra things. CAD, computer aided design. Yeah. So this software is KiCad, which is an open source circuit board designer, electronic circuit designer, schematic capture as they call this bit of it as well. So here's our SNES controller or connector, 7 pins, 2 pins not used. Our Amiga controllers there, 9 pins, all of them used. I'm using this little label here to jump this wire across here, just so that I don't drag it across the whole thing. Oh, here's terrible fire to judge my to judge me. How are you? Welcome in and happy Friday. 07 Commander. So I'm doing a little bit of CAD here. Oh, excellent. You'll be especially judgmental, so I know Terrible Fire doesn't like the breadboards either, but I like it. I'm after getting this working on a breadboard, and yeah, Now I'm going to do up a PCB for it. Whereas Terrible Fire comes at it from the other side, designs a PCB, and then sorts it all out afterwards. Hairy Japanese bastards. Don't tell me I'm still on that feckin' island. Anyway, bought a solder gun. If something stops having sound, I open the solder wires back on. Fair play. Fair play. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so this will be like Terrible Fire here designs accelerator boards for the Amiga and other stuff, loads of other stuff. But an accelerator board is like, you know, an order of magnitude more involved than what I'm doing here. A couple of orders of magnitude. They are unreliable, but you know, they're also fun to play with. That's why I like a breadboard, because I can just plug things in and out of it and check it and all that kind of stuff. But in this case, it's working fine for me. I've got this SNES pad connected to the Amiga, and it's working as a CD32 pad. So happy days. And you can see it there with my scope probes on it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is just one chip, and I've got a half a dozen pull-ups, and those LEDs aren't even needed for the final design. So yeah, so that's what we're doing now. What I had just started on this. I need to. I had a couple of pull-ups that I had to put in. Can't remember where they were. So there's one on pin 10, one on pin 4, one on pin 10, one on pin 4. No, 16-bit bus is a different story. Yeah. Yeah, sure, you're going to run out of breadboard before you get too far with with something like that. Yeah, so pin 4. Does that sound about right to have a pull-up? Where's pin 4? Oh, it does actually. That's the programming pin. That's the VPP. So if you don't have a pull-up on that, it won't start. So let's give that a pull-up. La 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 la. Yeah, this is true, to be fair. It's a different world now to what it was 20, 30 years ago when they were expensive. Windigo, welcome in. How are you? I'm more or less finished with the firmware for this SNES adapter, and now I'm working on the I'm gonna move it to a PCB. Now, yeah, talk amongst yourselves. But the first time you load the footprints in KiCad, it's very slow because it loads them all in, which is a bit shit. It's another thing I'm going to be judged for. Good stuff. Happy Friday. Are you joining me in a drink as well? Because I know Amiga Mark was there, and he's on the IPAs. A solid choice. I'm on the red wine. Not that it's going to make much of a difference. I'll get halfway through this and I'll be too hammered to concentrate on it. So yeah, that's what happens. Okay, right. So now we're up and running. Resistor. I'm a fan of it for the price. It's very good for the cost. I would prefer to be using Eagle, but I can't be arsed. And yeah, for everything I like about KiCad, there's something I dislike, but it is getting better, to be fair. There's so much that I used to give out about back a while back that they've fixed. And I remember going to forums back in the day and saying, you know what, can you not do this because this is shite? And I was basically told, no, tough shit. And then here we are 2 versions later, and all the stuff I was asking for came in. You know, like when I was using it, like, see this drag selecting, that just didn't exist. I was like, why can't you drag select? Well, that's not how we designed the interface. Like, fuck right off. And, you know, look at 99% of the other software on the market. Well, we're not competing with the other software. Fuck. Yeah. Anyway, that's the open source disease. But thankfully they got past that. So there's a pull-up. What's that? That's a 10K. This is the same song playing again. I've just realized since we started the stream. Let's move that on. Yes, cracked Eagle is probably the way to go. I had Eagle, what was it, 7 was the last one where you didn't have to have an account. I still have that somewhere, and that was good to use. But yeah, an Eagle. Yes, well there is that. Yes, you can you can just write your own interface for it. I've yet to try actually importing and exporting, because I know it's in theory it's possible to import and export Eagle files. I don't know how good it is, because I'd imagine there's a massive scope for fucking that up. I mean, importing stuff from earlier versions of KiCad doesn't work. So how are they going to deal with Eagle? Eagle 9.6.2, very good, very good. Okay, so I got to pull up there. What else did I say? Pin 11. Where's pin 11? What's pin 11? Pin 11. Why does that need a pull up? Pin 11 is oh yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm for speed reasons, pin 11 is switched rapidly. In theory, on a CD32, it's switched between an input and an output very quickly. So basically, the Amiga will use it as an input for 2-button mode and as an output for CD32 mode. And so it needs to be able to switch. So I'm just using it as an input here and tri-stating it on and off instead of driving it high and low, because that avoids contention on the pin and it's quicker. So so that's what I've done there, and so but that means it doesn't need a pull-up, because you can't use the internal pull-ups for an input. Well, not for a tri-state. So that's pin 11. So I just need to do the same things here. See, imagine that modern technology, being able to copy and paste a block like that. That wasn't possible not too many versions ago, which was a stupid thing. Let's stick it here. Now here. That's another thing. You should be able to drag a handle like that, but you can't. Now, what's the button for it? Nope. Is it G? It's G. Yeah. Danger Zone. Quality, cheesy version of it. Danger Zone, highway to danger zone.mod. It's cool. They sound like Street Fighter 2 samples. For anyone who doesn't know, Helge is a delightful musician in the Amiga world who likes to make fantastic music and just keep making it. When I say fantastic, I mean dreadful. But yeah, no, I'm not going to play stuff on stream. I'm not going to drive away all 5 of my watchers. How many people? Oh, 6. There we go. Yes, definitely worth a look for how not to do things. But he usually has his comments turned off as well, so it's a bit. God love him, he tries. Okay, so we've got some pull-ups. So was that it? Where's the other pull-up? Yeah, the programming pin and the tri-state output. I've got another one there. What's that too? In 3, 2, pin 2. Why have I got to pull up on pin 2? What's pin 2? Oh, it's port A, the CD2. Yes, I also need a pull up there because actually I'm not sure if I do. So here's the joy of breadboarding. Let's that one. Let's pull that resistor out, see if it makes a difference. It does, because nothing is working. Oh no, it's my capture card. let's pull that cable and try it again. Oh, it is still working without that pull-up, so we don't need that pull-up. Grant. Yes, mosquitoes being tortured. enjoy, I'm Immortal. Thanks for dropping in, and sure, we'll talk to you soon. Okay, so we don't need to pull up on pin 2. So port A on these chips doesn't have an internal pull-up, but that's CD32 data. So I think the Amiga pulls that up high. So it seems to be working fine anyway. Let's try it in 2-button mode actually, just to make sure. Yeah, Grant. And it's detecting. Grant, happy days. So we don't need that. So this is basically it. I even added a decoupling capacitor, which isn't even on my breadboard. I think there's enough capacitance between those big leaf connectors. Grand. And yeah, my programming port. That's basically it. Very, very simple. 2 pull-ups. Done. Sorry, you can't see that, what I'm looking at. Well, there we go. Anyways, yeah, so we've got 2 pull-ups, we've got the programming port, we've got the connector for the SNES, connector for the Amiga, and a decoupling capacitor, and that's it. Sure, it'll be all right for a first spin. Now, I have a dilemma here. I like having these things as a very little. Javier, welcome in, welcome along. I have. You're a coder guy. I've just finished with the firmware. I think it's not quite. It's It is not. This is just schematic capture. Drink. Schematic capture. It is. I'm gonna do a circuit board for this. Alter boys. So this is designing the circuit board for the thing, the adapter that I'm making. Now, I have finished the firmware. I fixed a little bug in it just before you came along, and the remapping feature and everything works on it. So I'm happy with that. So you can remap up to a button, and you can remap the A and B buttons. You can swap them around. So I'm quite happy with that. The last feature I do want to add is to store the remap settings in Flash. So I'll do this some other time. I'm storing the stuff in Flash. It means reading the datasheet for the chip, and it's Friday. I've been reading technical documentation all week. Could do without that. So lazy stream tonight. Yeah. So okay. So that's our schematic done. I'm gonna save that, and now let's move to a PCB. Now, see, this is the thing. Oh, they've changed it out. They've changed the bloody toolbar in this version. So I haven't used KiCad in a little while. There is, which one is it? Goes to footprint editor. Oh, I do need to do the footprint editor, I think, actually, because I will need DB9 to SNES. That's a SNES connector. This connector here. To this controller. See, if I pull the wire, you can see it moving on the other camera. It's all the one. It's actually a short cable. I feel like I see, and that's a Super Famicom controller, so that's the Japanese version. I feel like we had longer controllers when I was a kid, and when I had the SNES at home. So my sister has that SNES. I must measure it next time I'm back and see, because she still has it. Still set up under her TV. It's NES or PSX. No, it's just SNES. That's all it's doing. Because, although you know what, I was going to say because the protocol is quite straightforward, but it's a very similar protocol to the CD32. Just the bit order is different. So it's literally just translating that and doing it asynchronously so that it can respond to the Amiga, because the clock when the Amiga's reading the controller, it's driving the clock, so it needs to be constantly. It's basically interrupt driven from the Amiga side, and then it just pulls the SNES pad I think it's probably 1,000 times a second. So it's it's overkill, but certainly more than once or twice a frame. So it's grand. I'll probably slow it down when I'm committing to it. But I haven't. The NES protocol, I believe, is the same, but I've never actually worked with a NES pad, or when I believe it's quite similar. And it's very easy to use to kind of use the same firmware. Basically, if you put the same socket on, you could use one or the other and just like detect which one it is, and it's just a matter of flipping some bits. The PSX controller, I don't know, but there are already adapters that will take a PlayStation controller and convert it to the Amiga, so I'm not that bothered with that one. Even config buttons, yes, that was the bug I had today when I started the stream. I would just check the pad to see. I just checked the pad and it. Well, let's switch back to it and show you. So there's the pad, and all the buttons working. So red button is mapped here, and blue button is mapped here by default. But you can hold down select and press A to remap A to here. And now A presses the B button and B presses the A button. And the same for up. So you can remap up to, let's say, this button. Now, it's a bit of a shitty thing to do if you're using it in CT32 mode, but there's no way around that, because on the Amiga you can read the D-pad independently of the buttons. On the SNES you can't, but on the Amiga you can, and a lot of games do. So it's basically, it looks a bit weird, but oh, that didn't work, did it not? Up. It's in remap mode, and now I press that button. Oh, maybe. Okay, so you see that it fires the up as well. I'm not touching the up button, and if I do up select and up, it's in programming mode, and if I just press up, now it's back to match to up. Anyways, yes, it's all working. I fixed a bug earlier, which was a stupid bug, which was probably due to being drunk on the last stream. Because that's the kind of bug it was. I thought I was being clever. I was not. But I had assigned the status bit to the bit corresponding to the button status, the remap bit. But of course I didn't take into account that the buttons are active low. So I was like, why is it always remapped all the time? Anyways, that was, yeah, one of those things. So yeah, so here we are. So that's the SNES controller there. I think I'm going to need to create a footprint for that, because well, let's see. It probably doesn't have a SNES footprint in the library. Doubtful. SNES, no. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, oh yeah, so that's what I was saying. So I'm gonna have to create a footprint for it, but this is part of the dilemma now. So if you have a USB adapter for the Amiga controller, a USB socket is narrow and it fits within the width of a DE9 socket, which means that you can make it all in line with a narrow little PCB, and then it fits alongside the other connectors. The SNES connector is a big chunky thing. Big chunky thing. So to mount that on the PCB would mean making it quite wide. And I can't, if I put it out at an angle, it means it'll block the connector beside it if it's in one of the ports anyway. So the PCB is going to be much wider than with the USB adapter. And that means the only way I really see of doing it without putting it like vertically. Oh. Now, if you put it vertically so it goes straight down onto the PCB, that would fit. I don't know if you can get those connectors. But anyways, what I'll do is I'll put it so that it can be put on a cable. So you get a cable to the D9 port, PCB, and then with the socket, and then SNES controller. So the adapter is on like a cable dongle. That'll have to do. That'll do for everything, basically. So just thinking ahead for that, what I need to do then is not have the D9 here. Oh, no. No. That one. There we go. Put a connector, like a little header here that I can connect, so I can connect a cable to it. Little, you know, little JST connectors or something like that, little 10-pin one will do there. Let's see, what would I use for that? Oh no, not C. Connector. That's not what I wanted really. I want one that I can just drop in there with that spacing, because that would be ideal. Generic 10-pin connector. Connector generic number 10. Oh, pants. I'll have to do it this way. Dun, dun, dun. Actually, do I do pin numbers wise? Yeah, I'll do a single long header. That's it. I can do it right angle wise, and then that'll do. Do I do it in pin order number, or do I do it in? Let's do it this way. No, let's not. Let's do it the other way. One, two, move, move. Oh my god. Fucking hell. What the actual fuck are you doing? Snap to grid was doing some stupid there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, we'll figure out what way it looks, what way it works when I choose what actual connector to use here. If I'm going to use a ribbon cable connector or what. Yeah, we'll deal with that later. So that's a little connector on the PCB. We'll do that, and we'll leave that connector off the PCB. So, but we have both options there anyway. That's KiCad, yeah, or KiCad. I've heard people pronounce it. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? It's KiCad 9, and the last time I used it, it was KiCad 8. So things have moved, and the icons look a little bit different, I think. Well, that's how it works. That's the joys of it. Okay, so we've got two connectors for the Amiga. If we've got options there. We've got what else are we doing here? Yes, so then the next thing is we need a footprint editor. So I have a little library. Actually, let's see if it's imported properly. It's called Rob's Lib. Oh no, libraries. Create a footprint. Using a footprint wizard. Now, I'm trying to remember now. There is a way of choosing an existing footprint to modify and saving it as a new footprint. New library. New footprint. Tools. Manage footprint libraries. Where's my library? Not there. Oh, come on. Oh no, Rob's footprint limit is there. It's just not in alphabetical order, because why would you? Oh yeah, there we go. It's in my KiCad 8 folder. Okay. Fine. Grand. Deadly. That's there. So now, can I create a footprint with a wizard? Footprint generators. Available footprint generators. What the fuck? There's a footprint generator. No. That looks like... No, this is bollocks. New footprint. From... And now choose... Where? How do I set the working library? Save as. Ah, okay, okay. Okay, now it's alphabetical. Anti-alias, indeed. Welcome in, welcome in. Bifficad. This can get in the bin, because there you go. There's two different windows looking at the same list, and one has them alphabetically sorted, and one doesn't. It's things like this that are like, you know. Oh yeah, ask an AI to do it. But yeah, no, it can't be arsed with that. I'm going to save it in my library as untitled. Why the fuck? Oh, I can edit it here, can I? No, I can't. No, why would you make it look like an editable box? Rename footprint. What do we call this? SNES adapt. SNES connector. SNES controller. SNES. SNES controller socket. Grand. Okay, now what I would like to do is footprint properties. Actually, I'm just gonna check here to see if there's a KiCad footprint for SNES controller. No, I don't see. Okay, no, I'll just do it like by hand. So the SNES has a funny controller, as in it's slightly, or funny socket, or at least the ones that I bought on Alibaba or AliExpress are slightly funny. So they look a little bit funky. The pins, I don't know what I've never replaced one of those connectors, so I don't know if that's like actual thickness of the pins on the original part. But they are quite chunky, so I might have to do a little bit of measurement here, and my headphones won't reach. So the pins, got my little vernier calipers. Pins are 1.3 mil diameter. 1.3 mil diameter. And they are spaced. See if we get Facing for them. Which pin is power? Sort them out. Basically, that's 12 millimeters there that covers 4 pins. So it's 4 millimeters. 4 millimeters gaps between them, and they're about 1.2 millimeters. So if I do 4 pads 4 millimeters apart with 1.5 millimeter holes. So let's put a pad down. Add a pad. Oh, that's a really fine grid. Why grid? Grids. 0.1 of a millimeter. Okay, well, maybe I suppose 0.5. No. Okay, let's just pretend pin 1's there. But anyway, how are you, Anti-Alias? Welcome in. Hope you're having a nice Friday. I'm having a glass of wine. You know what? I haven't actually tried any AIs to see if they are any good at building PCBs. So we'll put a pad there. Put that pad there. Pin 1, 2. Oh, what order are the pins in? Ay, ay, ay. 2, like, pins 1 to 4 are used. Okay, and then there's a gap. So 1, 2, 6, 3, 4, and then there's the gap. Is it that much of a gap? Is it? No, it just looks like slightly more of a gap. Ay, ay, ay. Oh no, it's about 6 millimeters. So it just looks like it's skipping a pin. So 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, so this would be 15, 18, and 21. Now, I realize I've set down pads and I haven't even defined the pad, what they look like. Pad properties, where's the properties? Oh, no. That reference highlight? No. Okay. Right. Edit pad. Properties. Okay, so pad number. Pad shape. Let's just make it a circle. Diameter. Where does it come up at 1.905? And where do I choose the hole diameter? Ah, here. Okay, so yeah, that's fine, but where's the hole? Why doesn't it have a hole by default? Why? Why would you not? 2. Let's just make it 2 millimeters. Edit pad. Push pad properties to other pads. Do not modify. So we want to modify the pads even having a different shape. There we go. Grant. Now, where's the hole? Normally they're like. Copper layers. Diameter 2. Normally, when I've made pads, or when I've made footprints in older versions of KiCad, you've got a copper diameter and a hole diameter. Don't make me Google this. Why? What the fuck is the point in a pad like that? Same thing. Fabrication property. None of these apply. Why? Like, oh fuck. That's stupid. Stupid. I see. Through hole, I got this. They've made some changes. So we need a pad, and we're going to say 1.5 millimeters. So, well, they're 3 millimeters apart. So that gives a 1 millimeter gap between them. That's loads. Now, did that work? No, it didn't. Through hole, hole shape round. Oh, 1 millimeter. No, 1.5. How did that go away? Okay. And now push pad properties to other pads. Yes. No? Oh, I just want to look at that window again. Different layers must have been the one that was triggering it. Okay, right, we're getting there. So, got our 4 pins, and then 5, 6 aren't used, and then 7 is like ground, I think, or 5 volts. So it's done that way. Now what do we need? So that's oh, do we want that to be on both sides? Do we choose the layers it's on? Oh, it is already front mask and oh no, all copper layers. Okay, grant. Yes, that's what we wanted. Now let's have a look. So our connector we're just going to do some rough measurements. Where's my little, it's a beautiful ruler. Oh no, that's the mic, that's not the camera. Beautiful ruler. It's the simple things. So the connector, we're going to say it's roughly 40 millimeters wide, and that. And 16 millimeters deep. And the orientation is down the way. So the pins are right at the back of it. They're the rearmost parts of it. So the actual outline looks something like this. So let's go on a silk screen. So 7. So if we go to, so it's actually 8 wide. So the middle of that is, so let's see, 21. So 10.5. So the middle, our middle point is here. We're just gonna, oh no, we're not. We're going to grant. So our connector is about, what did we say, 40 millimeters wide. So we can go 20, 40, yeah. Did I say that right? Well, at the back, to be fair, it is a bit narrower. not much. At 38 millimeters. So, so what's that? 19 millimeters. Oh, 19 millimeters. Oh no, we didn't want to do that. We wanted to go basically at this point here. No, you're snapping too eagerly. 19 millimeters. And then we go do a 90 millimeter line from here. So what I'm doing here is I'm just drawing on the silk screen of the PCB. So that's so if we look at a, oh Jesus, where's the 3D? Oh, there is a 3D viewer. That's just the white lines that you see on the circuit board on the PCB. That's all I'm drawing here. So they don't really do much. So that's it so far. That looks too long. It really does. I'm missing something. So if they're 3 millimeters apart, whole lot is around about 27 millimeters. Yeah. So from there, 0 to there, 21. Oh, hold on a second now. I have measured something wrong, haven't I? Did I count that wrong? That's 12. Oh. Ah, Jesus. Divided by 4, not divided by 3. For fuck's sake, Rob. Okay, so, yeah. Started that all arseways. So, pin 2 should be actually 4 millimeters. Pin 3. 8 millimeters. Pin 4. 12 millimeters. What's that? 27. 23. 19. And that gives a gap of 7 millimeters between the middle two pins. 7. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, roughly right. What I might do is I might make the pads a little bit bigger just to give it a bit of extra leeway, because, you know, I know it's a Japanese design, but it might still not be using exact millimeter measurements. So let's modify that, and let's make the whole. No, I want to talk to this one. Thank you. Properties. Well, we can definitely make it 2.5 and make the whole 1.8 millimeters. We can make that bigger, can't we? 3 millimeters. That looks decent. Those pads look reasonably robust. and still enough space between them to route traces if we need to. Okay, so now our middle is, so if this, oh sorry, let's reset our measurements. So if this pin is 27 millimeters across, that means it is 13.5 millimeters at the middle. 13.5. So let's silk screen, move this bit. 13.5. Don't need that bit at all. 13.5. That looks better. That looks better. So then comes down. Say 14 millimeters. 2 millimeters at the end, which is a little bit wider. So 14 millimeters. Oh, we also want to move that up a bit. Yeah. So, did I say it was 14 millimeters? Predator Gaming, welcome in, welcome in. Go, I'm doing a little bit of CAD here. A little bit of CAD here. How are you? How are you getting on? Let's give you a shout out here. Sorry about the noisy keyboard. I am hearing it in my headphones. Doom mods. Oh, I see. Very good. I'm having a glass of wine. I am drawing up a circuit board for an adapter that lets me connect SNES pads to the Amiga. That's where we are. Good to hear that. Happy Friday and all that. I just realized people can't see half the window here. So this is what I'm doing. So I'm just doing a footprint for the SNES adapter, for the SNES connector. It's very crude. But the firmware is done. The firmware is done. I think I've got a few other little bits to do on it, but basically what I'm doing is I'm just drawing out the footprint for the SNES controller connector, and let's see what that looks like. 3D viewer. So that's what it'll look like on the circuit board. Nothing fancy. But I'm just making sure it looks about right. Yeah, it looks about right. Roughly right. Doesn't have to be exact because... But yeah, so there we go. So that's it. But yeah, welcome in, guys. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird stream because I've never done CAD on a stream before, and it feels a bit weird, but it's all good. So so this is our footprint. We need to do courtyard. Now, the courtyard is basically just a box around the footprint to tell CAD how close we can go to it with other parts. So I'm just going to give it 0.5 millimeter around the whole edge. That's courtyard. And there's the pins. So yeah, so I think we're okay. I keep on looking, and I'm actually behind the chat window. I should, you know what? I'm going to move that up there. That didn't work. That one will work. There we go. Put it up there for the moment. I know it obscures the view there, but it just saves me kind of feeling like I'm hiding behind things. I'm not trying to hide. It is what it is. So, okay, so let's save that footprint. And now, what that means is that what we can do is we can go to our PCB and we'll be able to add this footprint in, and it will match up with our circuit design here. So this guy here, cancel. We're in line wire drawing mode. Properties. General. No. Okay. Let's properties. Surely there's a footprint. How do I set a footprint? Oh, there it is. Footprint from the library. Okay, so now I choose footprint chooser. Where's Rob's lib? Rob's footprint lib. SNES socket. There we go. So now what that will do is it will let me set that up on the PCB. I'm not going to do a 3D model of it. I can't be arsed with that. That's too... You can do. You can assign a 3D model to it and then render the whole circuit board in 3D if you really want to. Okay, so what we need to do is to stop the DRC. There's a DRC. DRC stands for a design rule check. So what it does is it checks your schematic and checks your circuit board to make sure everything's hunky-dory. It will give warnings when you have unconnected pins. So I'm just going to close them off and close these ones off as well. Because we're not using those pins. Are we not really? We've got spare pins. That's unheard of. Okay, so I think everything's ready to go. Let's go to the schema sign footprints. Let's see what we have. Okay, so we don't have footprints for anything. So the 100 nano, let's 100 nanofarad capacitor. So let's get a capacitor surface mount 0805. 0805 is an easy enough to solder. It's quite common, quite cheap, not tiny, not huge. So the D9 socket, we're not going to worry about that because we're going to put a little header on the board instead. Connector 0105, what's that? That's the programming connector. So let's just that's a pin header. Connector pin header 2.54 millimeters. Is that it? We will. Oh no! Oh, sake. Why did that not select? Stupid. Connector pin header 2.54 millimeters. Oh, sorry. We have to connect. We have to choose one. Yeah, I did choose one. Vertical. 1 by 0.5 or 1 by 5. Okay. Connector 1 by 10. So this is the what did I say? JST connector? Where are they? Who makes JST connectors? And why aren't they here? They must be called something else. Oh no, there they are. JST connector. They're a smaller connector and they kind of like, they're quite compact. Let's... One by 10 horizontal. Can we do a 9 pin? So what we can do is we can get rid of that connector altogether and add a 9-pin connector because there's a 9-pin JST. No, generic connectors. Where's the generic connectors? There we go. 1 by 9. No. No. Okay, so yeah, grant. Now, let's go back to here. connector 1x9. So now, like a JST connector. Or will we just do we'll just do a normal pin header. Fuck it. Pin header 2.54. We'll do that as a horizontal. That's really loud wind. 2.54. But yes, sorry, Predator Gaming. I was concentrating on that. How was the stream? You were playing with some Doom mods. Did you have fun? Are they new mods? Are you trawling the internet for mods from back in the day? What were you doing? 10k. We'll do the same with these resistors as the capacitors. Hey James, how are you? Good stuff. Good stuff. So resistors, we do surface mount because, to be honest, I know, like, you know, some people give out about using surface mount for everything. It's quicker to get them soldered up, to be honest, if you just do them less board flipping. So we'll do 805, 805. Now, here's where it gets fun. This PIC is available in different packages, so we can get the same chip, the exact same chip, in different layouts. So let's look at the data sheet for the chip. Data sheets. So what's this PIC? 16F, 87 and 88. So let's see what packages it comes in. Over there. I don't. Where's? Why can't I make this fucking narrower? What the fuck? Oh my god, software is just getting worse all the time. That's mad. Okay, so the packages available for this chip are QFN, DIP, SSOP. Yeah, okay, so that's it. That's basically it. 28-pin QFN is quite a small chip, I think. Well, what's the pitch on that? Let's see. Oh, sorry. Usually there's a drawing for the QFN. There we go. 6x6 mil body. That's a bit tight. What's E? 0.65. That's very fine. Very, very fine. As in 0.65 is the same as the you know, the budgie chip on the 4000 and the 68020 on the 1200 motherboard. So it's like it's doable, but it's a bit faffy. So I think the best bet would be the SSOPs. Or SOICs. Oh shit. Let's go. Sorry, excuse me. Let's have a look at the different packages and see, because I can't remember the sizes. Oh, a bit of Ghostbusters. Oh, hold on a second. That is quite flat, and there's the. Sorry, yeah, that's yeah. This is. QFNs are a bit of a bastard to solder, really. They're kind of for solder ovens and stuff like that. Although, you know, if you're going to get it made at a manufacturer, then it's not a problem. E 0.65. Oh, it's the same. SSOP. Who you gonna call? Indeed. Bam, 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 bam. Small E for the pitch. 0.65. They're all the same. Ah. SOIC. Here we go. Pitch 1.27. So these are the chunkier ones, but they're still surface mount. These are like the same size as generic logic chips that you get on the 1200 motherboards and stuff. And they're very easy to solder. I'll go with that, because I think, like I was saying earlier, I think our PCB is going to be much bigger than would be ideal because of the SNES controller connector. So there's no point in making everything super miniature when we can't fit within the footprint of a D9 anyway. Some interesting choices there, music-wise. Okay, so let's go with the SOIC footprint. 18-pin SOIC. So, package SOIC. Well, yeah, a dip. I like to do surface mount stuff. So, but I don't, a surface mount at that pitch is very, very easy. And it's definitely cheaper if you're going to get them manufactured by someone. So I'm already going with the 0805 resistors and capacitors. So yeah, I just would go with SOICs. SOIC 18. Why is it 18 wide? Why is there not an 18 narrow? What does my data sheet say? Package width. What's the package width? E1. What's E1? 7.5 mil. Okay, so it is that. 7.5. 7.5 by 11.6. That must be 7.5 by 11.6. D and E1D. 7.5 by 11. Yeah, okay, so that is actually the wide chip. Okay, grant. Bum bum bum. Let's go with that one. So the only footprint we don't have is the D9 socket. So, and we're not going to put that on the board because of what I said before. The SNES socket is much bigger and it doesn't fit within the same footprint. So cool, let's save that, and now we can finally go to our PCB. Do we need to make this bigger? There's our PCB button. You can't see it there because it's just over here. Switch to PCB editor. So how KiCad works, and it's a little bit different to Eagle, is it's less tied. The PCB and the schematic are less tied to each other. As in, you can tie them, but it's only a one-way tie. But basically what happens is you update PCB from schematic. So one error, cannot add J1. Yeah, because we've got no footprint. That's fine. So what we end up with here... Oh, that grid is very fine. Is all the parts. Add a clock port. Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, I do like a clock port. That's how Solus connects to the Amiga 1200, or to any Amiga, and I also have a clock port on my old Atari 8-bit. Still, again, a prototype because, I have too many projects, and I get something to prototype stage and then just kind of, okay, move on to something else. I need to finish things. Yeah. Okay, anyway, so you can see why we have why size of the chip isn't that critical, because look at the size of the connector that we have to try and fit in here. Okay. So if we put the SNES connector, our grid. We're not going to need a grid like that. We're going to need a grid maybe 5 mil. So that's our connector. No, the Amiga's clock port is actually parallel. It's directly connected to the CPU bus. So it's an 8-bit port. So what you have on the clock port is you have 8 bits of the CPU's 32-bit bus, and you have 4 bits of the 24-bit address bus. So it's a bit of a weird one, and they're not bits 0 to 8 or 0 to 7 and 0 to 3 either. They're just well, not random, but it's like, you know, you have to bear it in mind that it's bits 8 to 15, I think, and D3 to D6 or something like that, or D4 to D7. So that's it, and just it is great in a way because you also you've got a select line, and you've got a read line, and you've got a write line. So it's like if you've ever worked on an old PC, it's like an ISA port. It's like an 8-bit ISA port, and that's how people have made sound cards and USB cards and all sorts of things that go onto the clock port, because it's actually pretty versatile, and it has an interrupt pin as well, so you can do a lot of stuff with it. So it's quite good, and it runs reasonably quick. You can get a few hundred kilobytes a second through there if you write the drivers quite well. Now the transfers, you can't do DMA through it, so the transfers are all CPU bound. But if you're doing something like USB or a sound card or something like that, there isn't actually that much data involved. Once it's all interrupt driven, it's nice and quick, then it's fine. And USB, yeah, you could do it more speed, but for occasionally transferring files and stuff like that, it's fine. But it is it's a neat little port. Yeah, it's straight to the downside of going straight to the CPU is that, especially with the stock CPU on the 1200, it's got a very weak drive signal, as in it can drive high. Sorry, it can drive. I think it can drive low at a few milliamps, but driving high is only, we're talking microamps. So it's so having anything connected to it on too long a cable can cause problems. Yeah. There are some pretty clever devices for it. What I use for testing my Solus boards is I have a fast serial port, like and a Catweasel. They're the two devices I had around. So they are so the Catweasel is like a floppy drive controller, but it's a very, very powerful one. It's not limited in throughput the way the Amiga's internal one is. So you can run 2 standard PC floppy drives and read discs like that, and it was great back in the day. I used it a lot. So let's have a look. If we put the chip that way, see the less overlap we do, the better on these things. So so let's put our connector for the Amiga side that way, and then here's our programming connector. That is mostly there, but if we switch that around the other way, then see we've got far fewer overlapping signals. So we can put that there. That won't actually have a connector on it. That'll just be empty. And what happens is you sort of push a connector onto it and just hold it in place to program the chip, and then leave it. This guy here, this is our decoupling capacitor. This should be as close to the power supply pin as possible on this for this chip. Put it there, and the pull-up resistors can be anywhere basically. No, the clock port only exists natively on the Amiga 1200. But because it's such a simple port, as in it's just
address bits and a decoded select signal, and you know, the interrupt and stuff like that. So all those signals are available other than the select and the read-write signals, but they're easy to derive from other signals. So a 68K bus, the Motorola bus, basically the read-write signal is like, I can't remember what way around it. It's read, I think, is high and write is low, or the other way around. Whereas on the clock port, you've got a read signal, which is active low, and a write signal, which is active low. So you have to derive them from the read-write signal, the Motorola read-write signal, and you have to decode the address. But the address range is quite big. It's 64 kilobytes. So you only have to look at a certain number of bits. Like if you look at 8 bits of the bus, you should be fine. And that will give you your decode. So you can get like an adapter that fits into the 68K CPU socket, and that gives you clock ports. And there's also one that fits onto the side of the A500. You know, the what's it called? The sidecar connector on the side of the A500. You can get a board that fits onto that inside the case and gives you clock ports. You can also get clock ports on a lot of Zorro cards because it's very cheap and very easy to add to the board. You know, it's very easy to get a lot of extra functionality there. And so especially the individual computer Zorro boards, almost all of them have a clock port on them. In fact, I developed a clock port board years ago. Sure, I still have the prototype here. So there's a Zorro card, and it has 4 clock ports on it, as well as an actual real-time clock. I designed that basically for machines that were where the battery had leaked and damaged the clock circuitry, and that was it. It was very, very simple, except it doesn't work on a 3000 or 4000. It only works on the 2000 because Zorro 3, basically you're not connected directly to the CPU bus, so it doesn't work. Which is a crying shame. Yeah, so basically how the clock ports are separated is, on the 1200 you've got one clock port, but it's mirrored across 4 addresses. So the clock port decodes a 64 kilobyte space in memory. This is getting a bit technical. Sorry for those of you who are less familiar with the Amiga architecture, but or with these kind of things. But yeah, so the clock port basically decodes to 64 kilobytes of space, but it mirrors every 16 kilobytes. So the 4 address bits that you have decode 4 times. So that means you get sort of a mirror, like ghosts of the port 4 times. So what you can do is what that means is that basically there are 4 ports there, but you can't access them. So they all end up accessing the same one device. But if you take the 2 address lines needed, the 2 particular address lines that decode those 16 kilobyte spaces, then you can have 4 clock ports, and they're A14 and A15. And so that's how the clock port splitter works. Exactly, yeah. Now you're obviously sharing the bandwidth. You can't address multiple ports at the same time. So from the CPU's perspective, you can only access one and read from one, access the other, read from the other. So naturally, your throughput is shared. But yeah, that's it. So there are a lot of clock port splitters around. So back in the day, I designed a clock port splitter because I wanted to run multiple devices. And so I talked to the people who made clock port gadgets, Jens Schoenfeld, and Ian Stedman was the other guy as well that I was talking to about it. So I learned all about clock port, and then I developed the clock port splitter, and I have a prototype of it up there as well. So I designed that back in 2001, 2002, and I made it, and I was running because I wanted to run the Cat Weasel and I wanted to run really fast serial ports at the same time. So I built that and it worked fine for years and years and years. And then I published the schematic on my website, and then it became a thing that someone took that and basically made it into an actual product. And so you can get clockport expanders in a lot of the different Amiga stores. They were all based on my original drawings from back in the day. So there you go. But they all work the same way, and it's not particularly complicated. Anyways, right, so this pin here needs a pull-up. So let's put that that way around. Oh, we don't have VCC there, so maybe it does work better to go that way. I don't know, we're going to have some shenanigans here to get this working. We'll put it there for now. The other pull-up. Oh, actually, it is relevant to here. So let's move that down. Feels feels dirty to not have these things lined up. But that's lined up there now. Because the standard, see, this is kind of a from all the way through, it's a historical thing. But the standard spacing of pin connectors like these are 2.54 millimeters, so 10 of them to an inch. Whereas a lot of modern devices and devices that weren't initially conceived in America have metric spacing like this, which is every 4 millimeters. So my PCB is actually set to 0.5 millimeters, but what I might do is I might change that. But then I'll lose my nice layout here. No, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just go with. We'll do that, just so I can line that up with this. No, it's not going to line up, is it? No, fuck it. We'll be grand. Let's go with the 0.5 millimeter as we were doing before. No, I'm changing my mind again. Let's do 1.27 millimeter spacing. No, let's go with half that. 0.635. Almost. So what we'll do is we'll move this guy so that he lines up with the actual grid. And then this guy will line up with this grid. So you can see that it should line up. That's still not lined up with the grid. There we go. So you can see here that this distance here to this port, or this pin, I should move that, is, let's see, hardwired, welcome in. What way is this working at all? 0.635, okay. 6.35. Oh, we need to go one more. Yes, hardware stream. Is this your bag? I'm doing a bit of KiCad. So for the last couple of weeks I've been working on the firmware of my SNES adapter. This is the actual the PCB design. Yeah, that's it. So what we have here, I'm after making a footprint for the SNES connector, and you can see how massive it is compared to everything else. So it's not going to fit within the DE9 connector, which is the standard Amiga joystick connector. So there's no point in making it fit directly to the port. So I'm going to put it on a sort of a flying lead. So we have a little 9-pin connector here. Actually, I realize now I wanted to do I'm gonna save that. I wanted to do a right-angled connector for this. So let's change that footprint. So let's go back here. Here's our 9-pin connector, properties. Let's change that from vertical to horizontal. There we go. And so Eagle does it a bit differently. Eagle CAD will give you this a big warning when you change something in one part and you go to the other part, and it lets you relink it. But if you change things in the meantime, then you've basically lost the link, and it's a bit of a faff that way. Whereas, to be fair, I'm okay with how KiCad does it, which is it'll refresh things and give you the update on it. Now, I would like it to be the other way around. Can I mirror that? Well, mirroring usually copies it onto the other side of the board. When am I going back to Ami Blitz 3? I don't know. Is the honest answer. I want to do some coding. I have loads of things I want to code. So it won't be too long. It won't be too long. 2 more weeks. Yeah. Finish the game. Yes, I do want to do that. And what do I have to do with that? I need to add competition mode, and I need to add a scoreboard. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I will do that. Don't worry. I haven't forgotten about it. Because I want to finish it. Yeah, sorry. I kind of, not that I got burnt out by it, but I just I just fancied a change for a while. And this is, I was scratching an itch with this one. So this is probably only going to be 3 or 4 streams. And then what I'll do is I'll order the PCB, and it'll take a few weeks to arrive. And then when I have it, we'll try it. What I want to do is, I just realized maybe you can't mirror this, so I have to just have to deal with it. So yeah, copper list and sprites. Well, by all means, ask away. But yes, I want to finish this off, and then I will get back to that game. But yeah, no, I just had some family stuff going on a couple of weeks ago as well, so I was, just doing something different to change the scenery, kind of thing, you know. But yeah, no, I'll be finished. Because the PCB is almost done, to be honest. It's I'll have this done on this stream, and then we'll head off, and I will order up a few of these from China and get some Chinese slave labor to make my stuff, and then I will then I will test it with OR1. Yes, don't worry, I haven't forgotten it. I said it's nearly finished. So this is the whole KiCad user experience thing is a bit shit, but fine. But yeah, then we get back to the game and finish that, and then I'll go back and I'll do. There's something else I wanted to look at that I wanted to finish. I've got plenty of half hey and good work on the streak. James had a crazy streak. What was it, 15 streams? That's mental. But yeah, I'll finish this as a basic prototype today. Like, this is a whole 15. That's crazy. It's like, who the fuck listens to me for 15 weeks in a row? Oh dear. Anyways, so going to put that over here. It's easy. Yeah. I'd say next stream we'll talk. So I'll finish off this because, to be honest, this is I like this kind of thing. It's very satisfying. It's laying out PCBs. It's kind of what is it they call it? ASMR kind of situation. And let's move this one. Let's line it up properly. Yeah, so this is it is easy enough to get SNES connectors, as in they're not official SNES connectors. They're cheap and cheerful. They're oh, I hope you're feeling better soon. Hope it's nothing too hefty. I know I don't know if you have kids or not, but I know my kids are bringing home lots of interesting and fun diseases from school and toddler groups and but yeah, like for a first version, just flu. Yeah, the man flu. Yeah, I hear you. A lot of that kind of shit going on. But yeah, so this will be easy enough. You can get unofficial connectors from AliExpress, and that's where this one came from. John, welcome in. Happy Friday. I'm having a glass of wine. Cheers and sláinte. John, we've got all the Scottish Amiga guys popping in and out tonight. Good to have you here. This is an adapter, John, and it lets you connect a SNES pad to the Amiga and use it as a CD32 pad. There you go. Thank you very much. Cheers. What message is going on the silk screen? Oh, I'm open to bribes. Yeah, you know, first one to buy me a pint at the next meetup gets their name on the silk screen. But yeah, John, since you're just in, I'll show you. I'll scoot you over a little bit. What are we looking at here? So you can see up in the corner here, we've got my prototype board with a little chip on it and a few LEDs and a few other bits, and that is doing the conversion from SNES to CD32. And now I'm going to switch back to this, and we can see here that we've got the what's it called, Amiga test kit, and all the buttons are firing as CD32 buttons. And it also lets you remap up. So if I hold down select and up and then press a button to remap it too, now you can see that when I press that, it also fires the up button. And because the SNES button A is over here, and it's like kind of the main button for the SNES pad, and on the Amiga the main button's here, you can also switch them around. So you can swap that with that button, and now you can see that they're swapped around. So you can reprogram it as well. You can remap it a little bit. Yeah, it's an itch I had a while ago, and I just thought I'll do that. And then someone in one of the English Amiga user groups down south made one, and so I just shelved it. And I said, no, someone bet me to it. So many ideas I come up with, I kind of leave stewing for a while, and then someone else comes out with it, and it's very annoying. But it turns out that the guy who did it down south did it as only a 2-button thing, so it works on the C64 and the Atari 8-bits and all the computers that have the DE9 socket, and it has like it handled, because they all handle the second button slightly differently, so it does all that variation. But it doesn't do CD32, but the layout is almost perfect for the CD32 pad. So I thought, yeah, I'll do it anyway, and sure, I'll stick it on GitHub and see. You know, I might make a few, see if people want to buy them, and stick it on GitHub, and there you go. Now, updating the firmware is a tricky one, because it's easy to do, as in this connector here. Oh no, you can't see that screen. So that one. This connector here is the programming port, so you need to connect a programmer to that. Now, it doesn't have to be you can program it with like a potato, basically. I mean, a lot of people have these old programmers here, you know, for programming ROM chips, and you can program them with that. Like that's the connector there. It's just a set of pins, and that's what it uses. But to be able, you can't update the firmware from the Amiga if that's what you mean. There's just not enough RAM on board. It's too small, too simple a chip. I could put a bigger chip on there and have it programmable from the Amiga. It's a bit of an ask, to be honest. I wasn't planning on putting that much effort into this. But you never know. You never know. Time for a top up. But hope your weekend's going well, John. Have you any plans? I was kind of hoping for some good weather so I could do a bit of gardening. But it doesn't look likely. Right, so we've got our chips sort of laid out here. Let's start laying some lines. Yeah, V2 just like chuck it in the bin and get buy another one. But I mean, like, the thing is that for a lot of people who'd be buying it, I know it wouldn't be everyone, but a lot of people who are buying this would probably be members of Amiga user groups, and there's usually someone in the user group who can do these things, you know. So yeah, that's the situation. Okay, so how I'm going to do this is, right, we're gonna draw an we're gonna draw the actual PCB now. So what we do is the edge cuts is the layer that's used for drawing the actual PCB, and for this I'm probably going to switch to millimeters again. So we will do our PCB based on the size of the connector, because the SNES connector is huge. So this is the problem with this one, John. I was saying to people earlier, is that you can't really fit the SNES connector within the DE9 connector. You know, there are some USB connectors that are or some USB adapters that fit within the DE9 plug, so you can just plug it directly into the port on the Amiga and it just looks like a big plug. This isn't the case because the SNES connector is quite a chunky boy. It's about 40 millimeters wide, so if you put it connecting directly to the Amiga, it would block off one of the other ports or something like that. So yeah, that's the situation. So I'll do it on a standalone thing, so that it has a cable going to the Amiga and a cable and then a socket that you plug the SNES cable into. Yeah, tomorrow, pals in town. Ah, AJ Kumar play. I'm not familiar. Willem board. I'm not sure that'll actually do the job, but I remember them because I used to use them in my old job, and we used to have I used to do some firmware for medical devices. I've probably told this a million times on this stream, but anyways, we used to make blood analysis machines, little robotic arms that would move around, and you'd have like different parts of the machine were controlled semi-autonomously, as in you had one main board that would control all the other modules. Like, so you would tell the arm, I want you to go to this coordinate, and the arm with the board would then deal with the ramp up with the voltage for the motor, the ramp down. It would deal with the encoders, the safety detection, all that kind of crack. So but these were old boards. They were about this size, each module, and it ran a Z80 chip with a ROM chip. So when we were updating the firmware, we used to burn them with an old Willem programmer. So well, the fact that it can do the A1XE U-boot is impressive in itself. I haven't touched that because I'm not brave enough, because the A1XE is, I have one, and it is my Amiga 1 machine. It is a house of cards. And I think if you look at it wrong, it's just going to fall over, and that's it. But now I've defined my PCB. You know, I've given it some edges here. What I'm going to do is, let's have a look at the 3D view and see what it looks like. Yeah, there we go. That's a grand little thing. So you've got your connector here. That's your programming connector, which won't actually be there, and the chip, and there's plenty of space there for soldering and that. Yeah, it looks all right. Whoop! Wow, that was quick. Let's oh, can I live view that? I can't really dock it, but yeah, no, we close that. But anyways, so now we have to do the actual, what's called the routing, or the routing if you're American. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a ground layer underneath. I'll probably do them both. But so what we'll do is we do what's called a copper pour. And that's this one, a filled zone, a copper pour. And we're going to make that ground. And we're just going to fill the board with copper. That's what it's called, copper pour. It's like a flood fill in Deluxe Paint or whatever. And that's it. And now if we render that, or we don't render it, we do the DRC check, it's going to tell me loads of errors because it's not finished. But now we've got copper on the bottom of the board. So if we look at the 3D view, now underneath you can actually see, might be hard to see there, but you can actually see that the copper is avoiding the pins, except for here where it's connected. And that's because that's the ground pin. So that's all fine. You can actually see that if you zoom in enough. You can see that it's connected to the ground layer. So now we've got ground, and all of a sudden some of the lines, these are oh, what are they called? Rat's nest wires. Rat's nest lines. So these are telling you what needs to be connected. And some of them have disappeared already because the ground pins are connected. So there you go. Now the ground pins are not connected. This is a bizarre version of Suicide is Painless, isn't it? That's bonkers. Anyways, oh, we got an error. Oh yeah, we basically got loads of. Yeah, that's mad. I haven't heard that before. Okay, so now let's connect. We're on a 0.5 millimeter grid. So yeah, let's connect some wires. And I find this routing wires on a PCB, I find it very cathartic. It's a lovely. I find it very relaxing. It's like doing a puzzle. It's like yeah, it goes well on my brain. So let's connect some wires together anyway. So on the top layer, we have nothing. So let's route some wires. This one comes down, and we can do something like that. And now we've got a wire. This one comes down. I've got a wire. We might move that. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag that up that way. And we do the same with this one. And we do the same with this one. It's lovely. Yeah, and we can tighten them up and we can move them closer to each other. And if you're particularly fussy about these things, we can move them so they all have equal spacing. Like that. So they all have 2 dots between them. But it's quite a nice little thing. Yeah, well, see, but this is how I like to do it. I like to just throw them down, and then I'll drag them around until they fit. But yeah, this is quite the thing for you, John. You'd enjoy this, I think. It's very good because it appeals to the OCD in everyone. So this guy's straight across. That's to the plus 5 volts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these red lines are on the top of the board, and the blue is on the bottom. But what I might do is I might put the 5 volts on the bottom of the board as well. And yeah, absolutely. So so this guy here, we'll run it like the. No, we want it to be at a bit of an angle. No, we run it straight into the side there, and this one we can run straight in like that. Now this is very, very slightly crooked because of that is a difference. Oh no, I thought that went there. Oh, it's this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use neck clasp width. Oh, it doesn't such. There is an auto router. I don't like the auto router for the very same reason. Those fine lines are that's your rat's nest. That's just telling you what needs to still be connected. The auto router is all right. And it's good if you're especially doing lots of things, but for something simple like this, I like to route it and make it nice and neat. Whereas the auto router will kind of you kind of set a set of rules up, and it does a certain amount of things, and then some things are a bit shit. But now the neck class. Now here's the thing. So we need to manage the neck classes. And they've moved it, I think. Is it in preferences? So basically what a neck class is you define different rules for different types of connection. So a neck class will be like a power line or a data line or a radio frequency line, or something like that. And so you set the rules for them, and then that determines how things are connected. So I didn't even check when I was connecting these lines, but the traces look fine, but out of predefined sizes. So the neck predefined sizes. Oh, neck classes, there it is there. They've moved everything right. So those are 0.2 millimeter tracks, which is kind of normal. So let's add power. Oh, we should have copied this one. Can we copy this one? Stupid. Clearance only needs 0.2, but we'll make it 0.5 millimeters wide, just because it's hard to tell how much power you're going to use, because some controllers might take more power than others because there's actually chips in the controllers. So the PIC chip itself uses like microamps. It's really, really efficient. Like, a PIC chip is one of these chips that you can, if you want to, you can put it in like a hibernate mode, and it uses nanowatts of power, and it will run off a watch battery for months. And they're cool like that. We don't need a bigger via size, do we? Let's go with 0.8 for power. 0.8. Oh my god. 0.5 microvias we don't care about. DP, what's DP? This is new. Differential pair, oh, of course. We're not doing differential pair, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, now we should have different neck classes. Now we need to set which neck class is used for what. No. Neck classes. Okay, so now we need to, if for example, this is our power connector here to the SNES, and our power connector from the Amiga is here. So this will be a thicker trace because it needs to actually carry some power. So what we're going to do is, where's my wire? We're going to, oh yeah, no, we're not doing differential pair. So this is the same width. So oh, let me try and remember how you do this. I think we'll draw the trace. Where are the net classes defined? Let's save this and go back to our schematic. Are we defining net classes here? Assign net class. Yeah, there we are. So VCC, net class power. See, so now we've got power. Assign net class power. Okay, that's already assigned to power. Okay, so let's save that. We go to PCB editor and we'll re-import our PCB. Update, changes applied, grand. Okay, so now when we choose to draw a trace from here, yeah, look at that, see, it's much thicker. Okay, so now our power is flowing. It's convention not to use 90-degree angles in PCBs. Whether it actually matters is it's like an eternal debate. Oh, that button used to work for changing the stance, but it's the idea is that when they're making the circuit boards, what they have is you start with a board full of copper. It's just plain copper coating on it, and what they'll do is they will deposit a certain material. They'll basically like print onto the board the outline that you want, and then they'll dip it in acid, and the print will protect the copper where the acid, when it's dipped into the acid. So you're left with everything that isn't printed will be eaten away. So what you're left with is these lines of copper. But if you have tight angles, it's what's called an acid trap, and the copper can get eaten away, and it can make it a bit narrower here. So especially for power lines and stuff like that, it's kind of convention not to use right angles. But modern manufacturing plants like that, this is so big compared to, like, for example, a power line in a mobile phone. It's like the thickness of your finger. You don't have problems like that anymore, even with the cheap places. But it's good to, like I say, it's a convention, so we'll do that anyway. So you can see now we've got our power line there. We can go this way now. I know that is a right angle there. Ugh, that's awful. And of course, electrically, absolutely fine. But there we go. You avoid them where we can, just for convention's sake. And yeah, so now we've got power to the chip. We need ground power here. So we do also need power to the SNES connector. I want to come out of there and then go to an angle. And this will bring us around to power to the other side of the board. That's a pull-up. Pull-ups, to be fair, don't even need the thing because they're not actually carrying any current. Make that a bit wider. Yeah. Something like that. So because this is not actually carrying much current at all, that can be a thin line, but it's not actually supplying power, because this is just making the signal be high rather than low. Now, here's the fun bit. It's where we need to start crossing cables, crossing connections here. And see, that's automatically a nice thin one because of the net classes. Good to define the net classes. It's like setting up your styles before you write a serious Word document. Okay, so yeah, this line doesn't need to be that thick. It only needs to be like that, but we'll leave it that thick anyway, just for shit and giggles. Oh, you know what I missed? Actually, I think it would be good to have the status LED. The status LED tells us when we're in programming mode and when the SNES controller is actually connected. The little green light there, that's our status LED. And if you watch here, if I disconnect the SNES pad, it goes off. Oh, some weird shit. Okay. Yes, because the problem is when you disconnect the SNES pad, it thinks all the buttons are pressed. So it's after detecting that it's going into remap mode. Stupid. Okay, so anyways. Yeah, it's all shits and giggles until someone giggles and shits. Yes, indeed, and then you all have to get out of the pool. So this guy here, yeah, that's nice and it's fairly straightforward. Now all our SNES connections are made. Now we have the tricky ones, But there's a big bug that we're going to have to sort out, because when you unplug it, it's going to go straight into programming mode. So we have to stop that. But anyway, right, that's on the list for the next firmware update. Let's do the PCB, and then I'm going to go to bed. So we've got two sides to the board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go underneath the board, and we're going to run this connection here underneath the power connection here. And how we do that is with vias. So we go like this, let's say, go in between these two resistors, go up here, and we go here, and we say I'm going to do a via here, and the V button is there, and now we're on the bottom. No, we're not on the bottom. Why did that not automatically change? That's terrible. Anyways, there we go. So now we're on the bottom of the board, and we've got blue. So we'll save that. Well, let's have a look at what that looks like now in the 3D viewer. So you can see now, oh, it's properly looking like a circuit board. Got signals here, and if we look underneath, oh, we have that wire coming from the little via. So what a via is a little hole that carries a signal through the board, so that you can jump over other signals and stuff like that. So that's all it does. We need to do our DRC, run DRC, errors, many errors. Oh, far fewer errors because I've connected up loads of the wires. And now look, we've got a bit of clearance around this cable, or around this connection. So our 3D view will look much better on the bottom. There we go. It's looking like a proper, actual grown-up circuit board. There you go. Now, if you were being fancy with PCBs, you can have extra layers in between. So that's just a 2-layer board. And if you do it in, like, if you look at it on the screen here, it's actually quite fat, and there's nothing in there but fiberglass. But what you can do is you can stack up layers of copper in between. And what they'll do is they'll print a layer and etch it, and then stick the outer layers on, and then do the same thing, stick more layers on if you want. So every time you add layers, you're making it more expensive because you're multiplying the process. But it's regularly done. Even back in the day, like the Amiga, the newer Amigas, like the 1200, not the 600, the 1200, CD32, the 4000, and 3000 have a 4-layer board. And what that does for you is, first off, it frees up a lot of space on the top because all the power lines can go through the middle instead of along the top. But it also lets you put the... Oh, where's that gone? It lets you put this ground connection in the middle, and that is really, really good for signal integrity. And it keeps... It massively reduces noise by running all the copper of ground just below the surface here. And what that does is it basically protects all your signals from interfering with each other, as well as interfering with signals that are on... What the fuck? Like, I'm not doing that. I swear to God, there's something dodgy there. But as well as interfering with signals underneath. So, yeah, a middling layer is quite good like that. Anyways, or a 4-layer board. But for this kind of thing, a 2-layer board is fine. We have very few connections. It's all good. So next, let's look at this one here. So we're on. Let's go back to the top layer and lay a signal. Now you see, because we're in metric and these pins are 1.27 millimeters apart, we end up in a situation where we can't line up exactly. So for this kind of thing, I always feel it looks better if you don't just run it slightly, but if you kind of do this kind of situation here. So it's got a bit more of an angle to it, and then we do a via. Oh, the old KiCad used to do this. For, you know, when you pressed V, it switched to the other side because it assumed you were going to continue the signal, and it assumed correctly. Okay, now these two guys have to go across the board. Oh, well, that's ground. So ground is on the bottom of the board. So what we're going to do is we're going to coat the top of the board in ground plane as well. So here's our ground plane. We're going to do ground again. And we're going to fill both sides of the board with ground plane because you can never have too much ground plane. DRC check. Done. So now ground, you can see, is now actually connected to the top of the board, and that copper is connected to ground up here and around the way, although that's a bit of a roundabout kind of route it goes. It's not ideal. And why does this still say it's not connected to something? Where's that line going? See if we try to connect to something. Oh, it's not connected. See, so oh yeah, so see here, even though this is connected to the copper, it's a floating island. So what we need here is what's called a stitching via. Freestanding via. Let's do that. And that's a stitching via. So what that does is that connects the two ground layers. And now if we yeah, you see, and now sorted. So these are good things in terms of if you have two ground planes and you can get differences between them. You know, the longer they are, the difference between them, you can get higher differences between them. Now we're talking about problems when you get to the megahertz range. This is running in the kilohertz range or even lower, so we're not too worried about that. But sure, we'll stick them in a few places. Actually, what I was just thinking there is I could put a couple of screw holes in this, because if we're ever going to put it in a case or something like that, or put like little feet on it, would we be doing that? I don't know, fuck it, I'll just leave it as it is. We'll leave that for another revision. Let's do a couple of vias down here as well. Do a via there. Via there. So that should be them. Now let's do our DRC. Oh, DRC. We've got rid of a warning. So now this signal here, that's a programmer signal. That's a, oh yeah. So this has to go under and over, and so let's bring that to a via here. Change layer. Stupid guy. Oh, look where I put that. Okay, we're gonna move that one. You can go there. Of course I did. Yeah, there we go. And what else is What else still needs to be connected? This guy here needs some via love. So let's run that from here. That's the one. I'm trying to keep these things as far away from other signals as possible, and I'll tell you why for. So what'll happen is when we regenerate this copper layer, there'll be a gap around this, and if that gap is too thick, it'll sort of cut off chunks of the copper. So that's still connected there, you see, so that's fine. So we just didn't want it to be sort of isolating chunks of the copper, so that's it. But what I'm going to do is as well, I'm going to move these lines up because that kind of bugs me. You got two bits of the same ground plane and they could be connected, and being connected is a good thing. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move this guy up. What the juice? No. D for drag, yes. Let's regenerate the copper. 2 errors, 3 warnings. Okay, and now our copper is complete here. So we've got 2 more lines here. Now because these are pins that are through the board, we don't have to create vias specially for them. They are automatically vias. So, oh, actually, you know what? It's going to get a bit tight around here. I think it would be nice to have a little bit more space. Just gonna fuck all this up by moving this chip down a bit. Ooh. Doesn't like that. Doesn't let me do that at all. It's not happy about that. Okay, well let's ignore that for now. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's move it without the consent of the machine. Let's do that, and let's just delete these lines and we recreate them. Definitely don't want to leave something like that there, which is causing problems. Okay, so let's move this guy here in line with the VCC. It's close enough. Let's do that. We'll move this. We don't need that. Let's get rid of that altogether. And let's do a new VCC across here. I would rather that be in. There we go. There. That's nice. Get rid of this bit of copper here. And let's redo this one. And this one. Oh, let's do that one from scratch. Let's get rid of that one and a bit of copper there. So now. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Just delete that one. That one. So I'm okay with this resistor being a bit further away because it is it's just a pull-up, it's just a signal, it's not an actual decoupling or anything like that, so it doesn't need to be close to the power pins. Let's just do a quick regenerate on this, see what it looks like. Yeah, loads of warnings and errors and stuff. Yeah, I know that's too close. These are all too close, of course they are. Now, sort them out now in a second. This guy here. Boom. This guy here. Boom. These guys, you guys. Boom. I think that looks quite even. 2 dots, 2 dots, 2 dots. We can tighten them up if needs be, but now we've got a bit more space up here for doing vias. We're going to have to move some other stuff around as well. Let's see where we are. Okay, this guy. No. That one. No. Oh my god. That one. That one. That's just a pull-up on this signal here. Could actually put that over there, although it needs to go through a via regardless. So, let's do our DRC again. What are we doing? 6 and 3. 6 and 3. Let's put a via here. Let's get rid of this trace altogether. Put a via there. Uh-oh, and look, we're actually using the the default behavior of staying on the same layer. Oh no, we've also got this. So let's go back to the top layer. Let's move this. Let's get rid of this. Let's redo this all together. Let's do this one like that. Again, there's convention to cross lines at right angles if possible, so that kind of works out well. To minimize the overlaps, because overlap in theory can cause stray signals. But yeah. Now this one. Do I want to squeeze it through there? Yeah, let's do that, because this is this via here. No, that's not what I wanted to drag. Something like that. Yeah, like that. And now we've got some space to work with. I want to go not that way, that way. Yeah, there we go. And we can throw another via in the same area. Oh my god. And do a DRC on that, see if anything's too close to each other. No, we're fine. Errors and warnings. Oh, that's slightly annoying me. That copper should be solid. So what we'll do is we'll move this down there. And that'll let us move this. Fine. It's just not play. Come on. Jesus. Oh, fuck you then. Right. Let's do it there. Now I want to delete. Oh. There we go. DRC. That should connect up better, yeah. 2 errors, 3 warnings. 2 errors, 3 warnings. What have we got? Usually gives you an arrow where it's found something shitty. Okay, this... What's not connected here? Ground? What is that connected to? Okay, so this one also needs to go to a via. Bump. Sure, there's a shortcut. Ah, that's awkward. Ah, made a terrible mistake. Okay, let's do that via and things elsewhere. Nope. Something like that. Fine. Actually, you know what? Oh, that's ugly. Okay, we'll do that. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's going to annoy me as well. So this is the OCD element of it. We can just do that. Or, well, what I wanted to do was that. That. That's what I wanted. Oh no, we don't want to do that yet. So we've got this guy coming out here. We want to go to that blue one so we can come over and do another via here. Yes, sorry, let's do this again. We're going to start this one here and do from this pad. Oh my god. Thank you very much, Javier. Good night. Good night to you. Yeah, sorry, I'm going about this. I'm making this far too complicated. Let's go straight down. Good night, but yeah, thank you very much for dropping in, and we'll talk to you again. Via and top layer. Let's go there. And now this one can go to a via here, for example. And then bottom layer. Oh, indeed. Good night, John. Thanks for dropping in as well. And yeah, have a good night and a good weekend. And I'll talk to you soon. Something like that. That was far easier. I'm overcomplicating things. So the last problem is this, it seems. Where is it trying to connect to? So I think that can probably be solved by stitching via. So let's just stick a via in here. Yes, it can. Excellent. There we go. Done and dusted, I think. And now we can optimize it a little bit. Errors 0, warnings 3. Segment of J3. Reference field of J3. segment of J3 and front silk screen and don't mind that. It's fine, it's fine. Which one's J3 on silk screen? Oh yes, it's because it's right on the edge of the board. I'm not worried about that. They just won't, if you know, the connectors are what's important here. But what we're going to do is we're going to optimize it a little bit. Let's just move things in a bit. That's great. That one. Yeah, I think it's probably fine, to be honest. This looks a bit weird, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to stretch this out a bit. That. I mean, I could do that same. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. So let's have a look at that in the 3D mode. 3D viewer. That looks like a proper circuit board. Cool, cool beans. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the copper itself, I'm going to put a version number. Where's my text button? There we go. V1.0. Let's put it there. Or let's put it there. And now, if we do this, what'll happen is we get a sort of a, because it's not connected to the ground, that we'll get that, and then that'll be visible in the actual copper on the board. Yeah, there we go. So you can see it there. Quite cool. So then, like, we know what revision it is, what version it is. So now it's down to what text to put on, basically. That's it. So if we go on silk screen, we put SNES to CD32. Nope. I want to edit that one. Oh, copyright symbol. What's the shortcut for that? Can I even do that? Do I want to do that? Width and height is very small, actually. For that. 3x3. No, 1x3. Let's just make it bigger. It's too big. Well, maybe it is. Make it 2x2. Leave it at 3. And 3D viewer. Yeah. SNES to CD32. And then, yeah, we just put some smaller one. Designed by Rob Cranley and Wine. Let's go with that. Let's see what that looks like. Preview. Yeah. Grand. or two. Actually, you know what? That feels clunky there. I'm going to move it that way down a bit. Yeah, beautiful choice there, KiCad. That's exactly how you would do it. Grand though. Oh, what? Now, that's a good circuit board right there. 3D viewer. Let's have a look. I think that's quite easily buildable. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. We've got our designations, R1, R2, C1. That all looks fine to me. Yeah. Yeah. And when you've got let's see, do we have a little bit more wine? Sure, fuck it. Nice wine. It's my usual Campo Viejo. Now my can't remember what I was going to say there now. Yeah, I think that's it. There's just three small components: PIC chip and connectors, the Amiga, and programming connector. That's all we need. What's this? Text is being clipped there. What's that? Oh, that's why it's giving me warnings down here. Look at this. What's this? What's this arrow? Silk screen clipped by solder mask. Oh my god. No. It's a J3. Yes. Fine. I already put that there. What's here? Select. No, no. So what's happening here is there's something in the print here. Okay, so it's probably the you know what? It's the actual number one marker. Well, let's see if we can select the silk screen layer. No. We're on silk screen layer. Oh my fucking god. There we go. And this is a pin 1 marker. No. 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 Christ. 2 warnings. No, I want to select that one. I want to select. Oh my god. Okay, actually, you know what? It's not the. Oh, sorry, that's not the number 1 pin marker. We don't have a pin marker number 1, so it doesn't matter. It'll only fit one way. The problem is, the problem is that the silk screen is going across the copper. That's what's happening there. That's the problem that's finding. I'm not worried about that. What'll happen is they just won't print on the copper areas. So what you have here is sort of like a stay out area. Which is called, well, basically you've got the solder mask area, and the solder mask will be the same as the copper pour. So basically you'll have an area around here where the solder mask isn't, and the silk screen won't print there either. So anyways, that'll do. So where are we? 3D viewer. Now I'm thinking, I wonder would it look better with the text that way? I don't know, fuck it. We'll put it that way. Anyway, designed by Rob Cranley and Wine. That's me. And that's me. Yeah. That'll do. Fuck it. Right. Because what I'll do is I will generate some Gerbers from this. What a Gerber is a set of files that are kind of that are used for the manufacture of a circuit board, and they kind of give you all the coordinates of each corner and each kind of polygon that's on the board, and yeah, the PCB fabrication places will use them to make the circuit board. Excuse me. Just start a little bit shallower. And what was I saying? Yes. So basically the Gerbers are the files that are used for manufacturing circuit boards. So what I'll do is I'll generate them. I'll send them off to a PCBWay or JLC PCB, one of those places, and I will they generally have offers on, so like for prototyping. So if you only order like 5 of a board and you order them, they're below a certain size and they're below a certain spec, like they only charge like $5 or something like that, and because the value of it's so low, you don't get charged customs fees for it. Oh, it's really cheap, really cheap. So I'll do that. Now I just feel like there's some more optimizing to be done here. Let's do these lines again. Let's do this line again. No. This one. So let's go to like there. It's unnecessary really, but just for the sake of it. Just a shorter line. Now this package does do some pretty cool stuff, like equalizing the length of the line. So if you've got parallel lines that need to be the same length all the way along, it'll do that for you, and it'll do all the calculations needed, which is quite cool. Let's go with that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're all nice and even. Optimized. Yeah, let's go with that. Again, we do a DRC. Same 2 warnings. Fine. Excellent. Once we don't have any errors. The errors are the big problems, because that's like overlapping copper and stuff that will actually stop it from working. But that's all right for a prototype. I'm gonna throw like $5 at this, and that just looks awkward as well. Sorry, this is just, yeah. Let's just do it there, because I know I dragged it down there, but it looked like then it looked clunky. So we'll do it that way instead. Be alright. Or will it? Yeah, see, if I come out of there at 45 degrees, I have to go up the way there then. Oh, nope. That one. Does that feel awkward? That feels awkward. Fuck it, let's just go back to that. Yeah, grand. Okay. There we go. Happy days. All sorted. Yeah, like I said, anyone buys me a pint, they can have their name on this. But yeah, I'll order a few of these up. I'll have to order the chips as well, because the chip I have is a dip chip, which is the bigger type. That type. Let's pop this one out of its little protective casing. So it's unprotected. That's that guy there. Full of all the static and stuff. But anyways, we'll pop it back in its protective thing. So I don't know actually whether I should do this with a dip chip. Like, you know, I could do two versions of it. One with a dip chip for people, but then, yeah, no, fuck it. I'll do this because it's relatively easy to solder, and like anyone should be able to do this. I'll have to order some pick chips, but that's fine. Cool. Okay, I'll do that, and what I'll do is I will end the stream there. Let's go and see who there is to raid. Who are we gonna raid? Any suggestions? Amiga streams are always welcome. But yes, and I'll be doing more Amiga raiding in does what Nintendo don't. Off of the 90s or even 80s. Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. It's in, Martin. It's in. Where's my silk screen? Does what Nintendo don't. Just stick it there, will we? It'll be under the connector. Ooh. Do we want it under the connector? Get the bejesus. What the for fuck's sake. There we go. Okay, there we go. Or do we want to put it on the bottom? Flip. Oh, for God's sake, stop doing that. Does what Nintendo don't. That kind of works. I think it should be the other way around. I think it should be rotated. Do that. Oh, it updates in real time. Almost. There we go. Excellent. Perfect. It's done. Right. I'll order this up. And yeah, so yeah, I was going to go and raid someone. Who are we going to raid? Kiffer is on as always on a Friday. Kiffer's my Irish friend from my hometown. Bum, 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 bum. Search and filter. Let's search for Amiga stuff. Cami is on. Amiga Cami is on. Let's raid Amiga Cami. Absolutely. Because she normally streams at like funny times because she's in Tasmania. This is, you know, this is very early in the morning for her. So but let's give her a raid, okay? Okay, thanks very much, guys. Let's give that a raid, and let's see. Is it working? I think it is working. Okay. Thanks very much. It's been a productive evening. I have had fun. I have had a lot of wine, and the point will be there at the next meet. Excellent. Look forward to it. You know what? We haven't had a proper piss up after a meet in a long time. Since, you know, they just don't happen in Cambuslang and stuff. We had some heavy nights when they were on the south side. We'll sort something out. We'll sort something out. But anyway, listen. Thank you very much, guys. That was productive. That was good. And sure, you never know. At the next Amiga meet up in Scotland, I'll have a few of these to hand out to people. Right. Good night. Let's go and raid someone. Where did it go? Well, let's go and press this button first. Yeah. Bye.
Hey there, Bob. How are you doing? I'm just very done with my daily thing. What's my happening? Going? Let me get the cat right. Okay. So, I know what happens with being calm with me, and I will complete the day for me. I need to hit them at night though, yeah. And that turtle. Randy Goose. I wish you. I've actually got some turtles that time. Oh there, turtle gaming. How are you going? I don't hit them at night though, yeah. Because the thing you shoot up. I don't hit them at Bliss Market. Hi there, Ashley, thank you. How are you going? I still have some other reading to do, but I just think I'm concentrate nothing. Oh, yeah, I could And you're going to go today. That's good. And I'm glad. Yeah, but everything at the beginning. So let's see what was my other reading. Ooh, she not. Let the coffin. Yeah, it's only that. The morning for me, so I'm actually in my third coffin. I actually go up very early to get ready for the training. So I need those other shoe coffins to keep it going. Oh, you're going to sleep, no worry. Take care and have a good sleep. And thank you so much for the ride. I did got to shit next to that and says, thank you so much for 5